Okay, so what we're going to do here is just make a very simple backdrop for a little macro studio, and to create that all I'm using is I've got a 60 litre storage box there, and I'm just going to line the inside of that with some black material. I'm going to tape it down, so I'll just lay it in for now. You can see I've got the black material. I'll put it inside the box, and I'm actually going to tape this in very roughly. It doesn't got to be. I'm very bad at blue, Peter. So I'm not good on projects like this, but I'm very simply going to tape it in there, and that will be our backdrop. And the side of the box, whichever way we put it, we can put black material, and we can put our objects on for the background, and it'll also create a little stage for the subject to put on there and give us a nice background. So very simple, and we'll progress as I go along with videos and photographs and show you the completed item and how I use it. Okay, so now I've got it all set up. I've typed in the black background. What I've done, I've been around the forest floor basically and picked up lots of little bits and pieces. And because this is a nice deep box, it's nice if you can get a deep box, because what you can then do is create more of a 3D effect. Rather than just have a background, you've got a little 3D environment. And that means I can, when I'm taking macro, I can come in and I can move around and get a different perspective, and it just doesn't look like something that's just stuck there. It's an actual little world upon its own. We can go in, changing the direction of the camera. This is using a wide angle lens, so of course I'm going to be using a macro lens in most cases. And you can create some beautiful little scenes very simply. So that's our backdrop, and it's a 3D backdrop, and that will allow us to get some nice macros. So what have I done? Over the box you can see I've draped some white material, and I've also got it dangling over the front a little bit. And why have I done this? Basically because I'm going to be using a normal flash in this case. I'm going to try all different flashes. So this is just a standard flash. It's quite an expensive one, this one. This is the Canon one, 600 EXRT. But it really doesn't matter on the expense of the flash, especially when you're working this close and the way that we're going to be using the flash. So basically if we set the flash, so I've got the flash on, and you'll see the flash there, and the setting I've got for the flash is manual. So manual flash, we need to know how it works. So basically all it does, it throws light out so you can take a photo. That's all it does. And if it's too bright, in manual you've got a button that you can press. You won't be able to see it on the video, but actually on here, but when I press this I can then use a dial to say how much flash I want it to control. So usually we'll come up 1 to 1. That means the full power of the flash, and that is probably a little bit too much in this case. Although I'm bouncing the flash, you can see I've put the flash right up in the air, and the reason I've done that is that when I've got the camera inside the box and I'm taking a picture, it will bounce up, and because this has got translucent sides, this box, which is nice, it will hit this white material, and the box itself will help transmit the light as well. And what it will do is it will diffuse the light and throw it back down onto the subject. So we're bouncing it upwards, not directly at the subject, because if we've done that we get really harsh light. So I'm bouncing it up and putting this white sheet all the way around. We should get some nice shots. But we need to know how much, with the manual flash, we need to shoot at. So I'm going to take a shot first of all. I'm going to test it 1 to 1, which I know is going to be too much probably. So I'm going to focus on my subject. I'm going to take a shot, and yeah, it's a little bit too bright. You probably won't be able to see that, but it's quite bright. But we are diffusing the light, so we can use quite powerful settings probably. I'm actually going to bring that down, so I'm going to press my little controller on here so I can go and bring the light down. Let's try about half. So we're going to fire the flash at half light. And this is how you use manual flash. It's as simple as that. If it's too bright, you turn it down. If it's too dark, you turn it up. And that's all there is to it. So now I'm going to take another shot. Try and get the same subject. There we are. And that's nice for me because it's not too much. If you get too much light, we can lose the highlights of the subject, and I don't want to do that. I want to avoid. So if anything, I'm slightly going to underexpose, and the way we can check that, if we go to the info on your camera and you look at the histogram, I could probably turn that up a bit. Can you see the histogram? It's still well positioned to the left. So let's try turning the flash up. So I'll just put it up one point, and we'll take another shot. And now if I look at the histogram, so we've got the histogram there, we can see now that histogram, I'm not clipping in the black areas, and I've got a little bit to play with in the white area, and that's how I like it. And if we look at the actual shot, you can see that's a nice exposure. Really nice. So that's how you use your manual flash and play around with the settings. And the nice thing about that is you set the aperture on your camera that you want. I wanted f16, so my camera is set up. I'm on 1/60th of a second at f16. Most of you probably bring that speed down to about 125. But that means I'm going to get a sharp picture, so it depends on what your flash is capable of. Most of them are going to be fine at 125, and that's enough to stop any movement. So what we're going to do now is to try different subjects, and you'll notice I've set up all this box. We've only seen a little bit. Now if I come further back and I come outside the box, I will need to reposition the flash, because obviously I may have to change the power of the flash. Because obviously if it's outside the box, it's not going to be bouncing inside there, so I would have to reposition this and direct it more inside the box. I'll bring this up actually, so let's get back a little bit. I'll just move this back so it's not blocking the flash, and we can always put something in front of the flash as well to diffuse it. I can actually use some of this material. I'll just take it like this for now. But again, even shooting direct at the subject, now that is way over now because I'm directing the flash more at the subject. It's not diffusing on the sides. So we need to bring the flash all the way down. Let's try it. I'm going to come all the way down to 1/16 power. And that's perfect. Well, let's look at the histogram. You can see the histogram is perfect. So I mean, I'm used to using a flash, so it's experimenting and bringing it down, and we've still got, it's not, is it too harsh? Let's have a look at the picture again. No, that's beautiful actually. But you can see now we've got everything in focus. We've gone back, so you have to think about each shot. If you're inside the box, you can bounce it, get that nice soft light. Coming back, you've got to redirect the flash. You can diffuse a flash by putting something in front of it if the light's a bit harsh. This actually doesn't look too bad. It's an overall scene. I would probably have brought the f-stop down a little bit, and what that would do, two things: you'd have to readjust your flash because it'd be too bright, but also it would just diffuse the background a little bit rather than everything being in focus. So aperture plays a big part. And your speed, of course, because every time you adjust that, the flash will be different. You've got to look at your shots in each case and adjust to get exactly what you want. I'll be taking some more shots and I'll be giving you some examples on the video. So when I've done the insect shots, what I've done is attach a twig with a bit of tape, just using a clip there that's used for backgrounds, for photography backgrounds, and that just, you can buy those off Amazon or any photography shop, and I'll just use that to tape this branch, so I'm using the background of the things in the box. Obviously they will be very diffused, you'll be well focused in, but it just gives that nice natural background to your shot. So that is completing what we've done within the shoots, and you can see it's really effective. You can get some great shots. Very simple setup, and something to do in the colder months when you don't want to go outside with your camera. You can work inside. Obviously you may not have stick insects, buy some. Great pets. But you can shoot anything, still life or anything, and just create these backgrounds. And with that bit of 3D feel to it, it's not quite so static as using a flat background image.